Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Thanks to some fans stepping in, we can finally update you on all the ERLs out there. In the meantime, some of the ERLs changed up the caster doing their segments, so feel free to drop in the comment section down below and show them some love. Anyways, I think you're just as excited as me to have all the ERLs united, so let's not waste any more time. Cue that loud intro music.
Hey guys, this is still the fake one, this is my cut, let's get this Ultraliga update started.
Przy dobrym selekcie od oponenta, przy całkiem solidnej grze, bo chciałbym pochwalić Delishman jeszcze raz za to, że podejmują dobre decyzje. Chociaż teraz Laker, co za bestia!
Błędnie tak naprawdę eliminuje Zamorka, zanim ten był w stanie skoczyć. Double kill dla niego, Laker kompletnie wymiata ten bohater.
As I promised you previously, this past week was absolutely crazy. We've had a couple of well-executed stomps, we witnessed Agaro getting challenged by Devil Swan, which was definitely a surprise, and we've had a Jinner-esque game between Gentleman's Gaming and Common Friends that lasted a very long 51 minutes. I know, because I casted it, it was an absolute nightmare, but in the end, if I was to recommend you only a single game, it would have to be 7x7 Pompa team versus Kick. Pompa displayed a high level of individual play and piloted a deathball kind of a team comp super well. They are certainly the top 2 team right now, and it's surely worth taking a closer look at them. If we take a quick peek at the standings, it appears that the situation is getting a little bit clearer. The 2 main points that come to mind is the Kick situation, where they've only won against teams that are below them in the standings, and the battle for the 5th place. In that case, it seems like Devil Swan are the best contender for the spot, but nothing is set in stone just yet. The upcoming week will be an important one for Pompa and Illuminar. The teams are currently divided by only a 1-point difference, and they will face off in a very important match. Pompa is currently on a rise, and it seems like Varshi, their mid laner, is the main driving force, having 2 massive performances on Zoe and Galio in week 4. On Illuminar's side, I would look towards their top laner, Melonic. He's had a very good season so far and has almost exclusively played carry matchups, in which he excels. The rematch between the teams will also confirm who the clear number 2 is in the league. That's it from me, I'll be seeing all of you this time next week.
Hello everyone, I'm Anifar and I'm a color caster for the Portuguese ERL LPLOL, and I'm here now to bring you the best of what our league has to offer. We have everything from fiestas to strokes of sheer genius, so be sure to stick around.
Dragão que certamente vai ser contestado para ambas as equipas. Metro Archer estava sozinho e a brincar com o fogo.
Ele pensou que tinha uma equipa para ir com ele, mas o que é que foi aquele alternative? Agora sai o Will imediatamente e Shaki passa Twister 1! Mas Chase consegue matar Metro Archer. Alternative leva a boss lane para terminar.
Recapping last week, both of the top teams in our league currently went 2-0, reassuring their stand in the standings, whilst the middle of the pack teams had a little bit of a shuffle. Boa Vista got a 2-0 week, which is very rare for this team since they've been struggling from week 1, whilst For the Win, who were actually one of the favorites to even make it the furthest in this competition, are currently struggling with the 0-2 week. And since those 2 teams had the biggest changes coming into this week, I would say to rewatch their match where Boa Vista actually handedly beat them, and they actually did a great job at it. Looking at the standings, then we see that White Dragons and GTZ Bulls continue to dominate the league, while EGN are not far behind. The rest, the middle of the pack, it's all up for grabs. The 4th spot in playoffs is still yet to be determined. For next week, we have a great match coming to close off the first round of best of ones, and it's GTZ versus White Dragons. These 2 teams have not faced each other yet, and this will really determine the power level of the best 2 teams in the league. I'll be back next week with more Portuguese flavor added to the universe. See you then.
Hi all, this is Noah and this is Superliga.
Tienen 3, lo tienen 2, lo tienen 1. Sendo tiene la defensiva disponible. Sigue
No.
busca
Vale,
la
salió.
champion de 3 jugadores de Madrid. Llega el beat por parte de Schiller, oscura de nuevo con el combo.
No te creo,
Fight
no te creo.
espectacular, es que te
Esto
lo
sí.
dije. Los
No te
malos
creo.
nunca ganan. Confía en el poder de la amistad. David buscando
te
la
creo que va a
cabeza
ganar.
de Flaken. Flaken suprimido. Flaken acaba
Se lo lleva.
muriendo.
Incredible upset in the Mad Lions Madrid versus Team Queso, but that Sandoz ult is the ultimate expression of what Superliga is right now. You can be relaxed, because even if you're really ahead in the game or in the standings, any team can still beat you. I've chosen the G2 Arctic vs Mad Lions Madrid for our match of the week since it was a turning point for both teams. Mad Lions needed and still needs desperately some victories, and for G2 Arctic it was a wake-up call. Also, a former bot lane of Super and ASNR clash who reached finals back in 2020 summer is also an interesting reason to watch this game. Standings are true tight right now. G2 Arctic and Primeleague Betis are a bit ahead of the rest, but boy, there's only one victory between 3rd and 10th, so anything can change dramatically from one week to another. And that is why I've chose for the next week the Primeleague Betis vs Vodafone Giants. Also, Betis' mid laner Menedoke has been playing for a really long time in Spain with only one victory on his back in 2016. So also, most people expected Betis to be between 8th and 10th place in the standings, so this clash between this underdog team and a powerhouse such as Giants is always exciting. This has been all from this week of Superliga. See you next week in the next EUpdate. Goodbye!
Hi everyone, I'm Paul, caster for the Belgian League, but today we're gonna be talking about another championship. Yeah, this is more appropriate. So today I'm going to be talking to you as a French fan, and we're going to do a quick LFL recap, but first, let's take a look at one of the most impressive plays of last week.
Passive Viking pour être sûr d'être le plus au point possible et on engage directement Viking. Oh superbe! On empêche la réactivation du dieu de la force du côté de Bordeaux et derrière c'est Silam qui se jette dans la backline. L'assassinat de Woolite est réalisé par le carrière défoncé et Lazy Dream qui pulvérise les missiles premières, c'est un ace!
Half of the regular spring split games have already been played, and the first things we notice when we take a look at the rankings is that this league is extremely stacked. Winners of 2020 Division 2 team BDS is currently ahead in the standings and on a solid 5-win streak. Tied in the second place with 6 wins each, we have 2020 LFL Finals winners Misfits Premier, fans' favorite Carmine Corp and the famous French org Vitality B. There's another tie in 5th place with Gamers Origin and GameWard. Only 5 teams will go to playoffs, and both teams are strong contenders for a spot there. In 7th place, Easy Dream showed everyone that they should not be underrated, getting some wins against 3 of the top 4 teams. 8th place belongs to Solary. After a rough start, they are now showing great signs of improvements in the last weeks. LDLC OL might be one of the biggest surprises of the first half of the season. They were expected to run in the front row, but are currently struggling in 9th place with only 2 wins. Finally, in 10th place, Team MCES will need to show more in the second part of the splits if they want to keep the playoffs dream alive. So this rounds up our quick overview of the LFL's first half. Next week again, all games will be bangers, but if I had to watch only one, it would be Carmine Corp vs Vitality B, as both teams are currently fighting for the top spot.
What's up, Universe people? I'm back to walk you through of what is currently happening in Esports Balkan League. I'm Glisha, let's get right on it.
Da nađu Delić ovde. Ekipa Nexusa želi da pronađe nešto, Lilija neće pogoditi, definitivno želi da nađe što je bolje do Solar Flare, pogođe dva čoveka, niko neće stanoviti, stiže Lilija, steže njenu ulti, ali bači pre nego što stigne, eto ga i Bodeslinku, niko neće pogoditi, Paladin je klenzovao, Sleep, malo bespotrebno, duše Nexus ne nalazi ono što želi, flashuje se ovde, Evil, ali nije dovoljno da zaustavi Zeka, dolazi dive ovde od strane Crazy, treba da uzmu samo ovu kulu, stižu kripovi, a Laki će da padne od kule ili ipak ne uspeli su da ju uzmu, Zeiko takođe dosta low, Azir mu lomi kič, mu uspeće da ga nađe, Marčuka pogađa svoj Xenoblade u protivnički backline, eto koji tamo, koji stiže na Jelija, da li će uspeti da padne, odgovor je da li CPM i Comeback mogu da okrenu ovo 2 na 3 solo laneri igrači Nexusa, uspeće da nađu veliku količinu damage-a, Paladin preživlja ovog pada, CPM u životu kao i Paladin i Unlucky, ovaj tutak je bio dosta
We're excited to tell you that a random Teemo showed up on the Summoner's Rift. The top place team, Shaimse Sapap, had backup Rase, the famous YouTuber, hop in this week to bring us both Yasuo and Teemo with Ignite on top lane to secure 2 victories, believe it or not, for his team. You gotta make sure to go and watch those very entertaining games. X25 Esports with a mid-jungle synergy, having 2 Cups and Fallen play Orianna Jarvan combo, 2 Cups finally stepped up and showed us of what is he made from. I can't say the same thing about Crocomax though, unfortunately. The mid laner of Crvena Zvezda Zvezda underperforms yet again with a little bit of Twitter drama between him and the coach. Crvena Zvezda is looking for a new mid laner. Last but not least, Crazy with 5 players straight up from EBL qualifiers are going to have an all-out brawl in the match of the week versus the reigning champions Shaimse Sapap. Whoever wins will be the best team so far. Be sure not to miss it.
Greetings, good people of the E-Universe. My name is Doctor, here to talk to you today about our Masters of the Baltic region.
That statement, but it sounds about right as the Baron is being started up. Homeless Master. He's in range.
Onto face and Cospac actually getting knocked out of the ultimate as he's going to be round up eventually. Cospac getting the damage down. Cannon now stunned up and taking a decent amount of damage. Will pop up the shield. Double
There's no way.
Will go down in the side. Consequence being chased away as Basel is looking to get re-engaged on one. Can't get on the Cannon as the rest might come through. Cannon going to Phoebe out of the heel. And that's the huge play. Pen pushing for Kaiser. Bushy grabs it. I said he was the one to watch and he might have just cleaned up this game.
Oh, he was ready for it.
This week we had a surprising turn of events when Pigsports faced off against Goskilla in our marquee matchup Fight for First, which rapidly turned into one of the most dominant matches of the split. Then, on Thursday, we saw the now second place Pigsports face off against a rapidly improving Method to Madness. Questions were raised before this game as Pigsports had swapped out their most pivotal member in Homeless Master, who went 13-1 and stole the Baron last time these two teams clashed. How well their temporary substitute would fare against Divider's aggressive early jungle style did leave a lot of trepidation in the air, but to find out how well he did, you'll have to go back and watch it for yourself as this was our match of the week. Now that we're in the second half of our season, every match matters that much more. With Goskilla and Pigsports both sitting comfortably at the top of the table, that leaves Team Infamous, Method to Madness and Iron Wolves all fighting for their playoff spot. For our final match of the week, we will have Goskilla facing off against Method to Madness. The last time these teams met on the Rift, Goskilla took an incredibly decisive win. However, with both teams employing aggressive and volatile early game strategies, M2 could be looking to even up the score. That's all from us at the Baltic Masters. Make sure that you tune in Tuesdays and Thursdays, 6 o'clock CET, and drop a couple of 07s in the chat.
Hi friends, my name is Craze. I'm the play-by-play caster for the Dutch League. Usually Wung would do this, but his hair was too messy today, so I guess I'm here now. Week 5 of the Dutch League was action-packed, so let's just jump right into it, shall we?
Of clearen ze de minions? Dummy die leeft, nu weer Shurelia's beschikbaar. Dus Dynasty, ze kunnen hier wellicht gaan kijken voor een aantal kills. Daar komt de engage van Lian. Het is wederom op Azeron, die toch wel heel tanky is. En Lian die moet hier nu weg met de flank. Dat is een 4-man shockwave samen met de Cyclone van Fat Shield. En dit is de wombo-combo van Dynasty. Triple kill voor Wukong en nog een shutdown voor Silas. En Dynasty heeft hier succesvol de base verdedigd.
This week marked the end of Dynasty's dynasty, as first they struggled against last place team, Team Thrill, in a 34 minutes game. They were losing for 31 minutes, but winning for the final 3 and therefore won the match. But the real match of the week was against MCon. It was the second place versus the first place team, and it delivered. It was a bloodbath, a tug of war. But once Dreadflick got a pick onto his LeBlanc and really activated MCon's playstyle, it was over, done and dusted for Dynasty, and they had to take their first loss. But Dynasty are still first in the standings and are the first team to be locked into playoffs. Next to that, not much has changed into the standings, but Ekazulu and Lowland Lions got some essential wins this week. Together with PSV, they will be battling for 2 more playoff spots, which is going to be a fierce battle. Next week, MCon will finally have a chance to claim their first place spot when they face both Ekazulu and the Lowland Lions. Personally, I'm most looking forward to the match against the continuously improving Lowland Lions, so don't forget to tune in this Tuesday for another day of the Dutch League. I hope to see you there!
Oh, that's hot. Whew. That reminds me, so is the next clip.
Antoine, zoals je zei, altijd nog Bardo. Bardo is aan het ingaan. Flash toch meteen, kijkt aan 2 man Pol. Hier komt de showstopper in de backline. De bullet time shredt veel mensen, maar Sniver leeft nog. Wie gaat hier als eerste sterven? Het is misschien uit, maar Mikkel heeft zo die Pol in de turret. Serafine is neergegaan door Zurgot. Maar kijk wat Bardo hier aan het doen is. Nog altijd naar mensen aan het zoeken. Zurgot die ingaat met de hookshot en Static wil voor de re-engage. Prachtige precision protocol van Zurgot. Die had Bardo bijna volledig neer, maar Duimelot wordt geschred door Mikkel. Knight gaat ook dood. Ah, Mikkel die blijft doorgaan. Heeft een double kill. Gaat er misschien nog een triple van maken. Urban gaat het.
Over in the Belgian league, teams started playing each other for the second time, yet I'm not so sure that's better for the level of gameplay. Let's just say one team managed to outsmart themselves in draft so hard that a triple melee 80 topside and Shen Heimerdinger bot lane managed to completely roll over their draft. At the same time, it showed that even though teams have had a second chance against KVM, no team has been able to beat them. As you saw in the clip just then, KVM managed to stand tall and keep their undefeated record alive. Against Sector 1 on the back of Urban's amazingly aggressive Nidalee performance and Mikkel's team fighting on Yone, KVM showed that they might bend a little, but until now, they've yet to break. Going into next week, 2084 is the magic number. That's how many scenarios that can impact our standings going into playoffs. Only KVM and Iron Squad don't need Doctor Strange to figure out how they can get in. With 2 spots already secured, the 4 teams that are left are caught in a slugfest for the remaining real estate. And that brings us to our match of the week, Genk vs 4 Elements Monday at 9 o'clock. Not a single fiber in my body can promise you a clean game of League of Legends, but my god could this end up into a bloodbath. Genk is struggling to find their early season form and 4 Elements seem to play better League of Legends every week. With Dr. Saw and Pascali, top lane might just deteriorate into some version of a Runeterra UFC title match, and at the very same time, 16-year-old jungler Frenzy will have to stop Peter Nouvev from stealing his 3rd Baron of the season. That was all for this week. We are ramping up towards playoffs, and as long as running every single version in my head doesn't kill me, I'll see you next week.
When things get serious, the bird jump in, so hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Ken here for you with your weekly update on PG Nationals.
Ecco ritagliare la strada, il Gale Force utilizzato per scattare prima che il muro salga. Olaf che rischia grosso, il flash purtroppo qua per un soffio non l'ha condannato. Bel grab da parte di Fox, Doxy costretto a stare attento, la manda all'avanguardia, arriva Ninokka, poi arriva anche la tempesta magnetica, Makers con il dive, la doppia uccisione, trovano un sacco di risorse, si spingono verso la mid lane. Quanto sta rischiando grosso Chris, non è da meno Doxy però, perché con l'arrivo di LQ, Doxy è spinto sotto la struttura, ha battuto al volo, serie interrotta, suprema di Orianna che va soltanto su Bubi, prende tempo, arriva il tag, un ultimo colpo ed è un ace, la carneficina da parte dei Makers.
A banger of a week, even if shorter than the previous ones, since due to a competitive ruling, GG and Esports lost both their matches by default and we've only had 3 games per play day. Let's start talking about Outplayed and their outstanding performance. They managed to get their first 2-0 week of the split. The return of Coach Pencil took some time to fix both their communication and their macro, but now that the work is done, we are seeing the results and we like it. Talking about 2-0s, both Machko and Makers went undefeated and are heating up for their direct confrontation. And talking about direct confrontation, I really recommend you to go fetch back the match between Axolotl and Cyberground. These teams got their head stuck in some sinful draft and ended up with 1 win and 1 loss, but their game was a hell of a comeback. A lucky week for Romulia and Samsung Morning Stars, and with their 0-2, the standings are shaking. At the bottom of the table, we are seeing Outplayed sharpening their claws, trying to grab back their playoff spot, which right now they are deserving. And on the top of the standings, Machko are the only team who represent a menace for Makers. Talking about Machko and Makers, the match of the week is between these 2 teams and I really recommend you to not miss it, since on one side Machko are aiming for the stars, but on the other side Makers are seeking vengeance.
Hello everyone, it's Smoke, peace from the east, and here is a short recap of what happened in Hitpoint Masters.
Pokusil to získat catch na někom z botlinky, ruku se ale hračka držela ten band, nestihl znova Greyhound, tentokrát nezareagoval a to by ho mohlo stát celou tu dobu žije Garb, flashuje po něm Sacrifice, který mu bude končit Ragnarok. Basket ale posílá Učko ještě do Ragnaroku a tím pádem to nefunguje, ale Orno přichází Sandy z Power, předtím přišel Ren. Tu je triple kill pro Kalistu, která si dojde pro svou kladu. A tady už je Vašek, který pojď si pro Pentu, pojď! Už se tam nahání, Ignite na něm tíká, ale Vašek...
Last week was a real show because we had the first clash of two best teams from last European Masters, Isuba and Sinners. Firstly, Sinners surprisingly lost to Dark Tigers, but then they were able to defeat for the first time Isuba. It was extra spicy for a top laner Garb because he used to play for Isuba last winter and had a championship with them. At the moment we are playing Super Sunday, so happy Valentine from Czech Republic and Slovakia, and keep an eye on players and teams like Inside Games versus Isuba and Inside Games versus Sinners. Next week I would like to recommend you the first match of Sunday, and it's Vikinge Krieg versus Dark Tigers, because there is some new up and coming Czechoslovakia talent, so keep an eye on them and let's go. Hope you are watching some good League of Legends. See ya next time.
Hello people, my name is Black Gator and I'm the new kid on the block. I'm here to give you updates about the DACH region and its Primeleague.
30 Sekunden noch, dann sollten alle bei Big Flashband zur Verfügung haben.
Der ist früh raus und dafür kommt Karim jetzt rein, jetzt aber die Orn-Ultimate, auch er mit der Ultimate, Stopwatch holt wichtige Zeit raus, Kilu hinterher, die King überlebt, kriegt immer den Heal, Salü hinten in der Backline und Fenster wird abgeholt von Rika, der hat die Shockwave auch raus, Shutdown ist das hier auch gegen DK und Big ist da, bekommt den Fight, weil Unicorn sehr ungeduldig ist. DK mit dem Laser lädt hier Big quasi dazu ein, den Fight hier zu nehmen und dann sieht man hier schon Sleeping abgeholt, Kadir, der einzige Überlebende und der ist sogar wichtig, der will mit der Ultimate raus, aber wird abgebrochen. Salü ist da und das ist hier, das muss hier das Ace sein, jetzt wird die Mitte durchgepusht.
Going into second round robin, starting on day 2 of this week, Mousesports and Unicorns of Love Sexy Edition stood at the top of the standings, followed by Berlin International Gaming in sole third place. All tied for 4th, SK Gaming Prime, Gamer Legion and Schalke 04 were in the top 6 of the standings. These teams were followed by EV Einfach, Penta 1860, Atok Gaming and Euronex Gaming. The schedule promised us exciting games and those were delivered. Exciting game on day 1 were Unicorns of Love Sexy Edition vs SK Prime and Schalke 04 Evolution vs Mousesports. The two teams, who won every trophy last year, played against each other. Right before Souldrake, Joppa managed to show us why the combination of Gordrinker and Starik is so broken on 11.2. Going to the second day of this week's games, I suggest you watch a nail-biting game between Unicorns of Love and Big. The game between Big and Unicorns was super exciting and a game that went back and forth between the two teams. Big managed to turn around with a beautiful Jarvan engage and 4 kills and straight walk down the mid lane to end the game. UL tried to stop Big from taking this game, but it was too little and too late. Next week is the Super Week, where games will be played on Thursday, Tuesday and Wednesday. The upcoming match of the week is Big vs Gamer Legion. Both teams trying to increase their winning streak and solidify themselves as the top teams right after Mouse.
Hello Agoriners of Universe, I'm The Rock and it's time to take a dive into the most chaotic league in Europe.
Του Dash ο Madley πάνω στις πέτρες του 4 και βλέπουμε πόσο damage μπορεί να περάσει ο 4 με το συγκεκριμένο pick. Έχει ολοκληρώσει και το Ludens και τα Sorcerer Shoes.
Και φλασάρει και όλες τις επιτικά γίνει και κυλήσει κατευθείαν ο Σάντι, ο οποίος παίρνει το πλέον σύλλητα, είναι κακό κόλ το οποίο κάνει τη φάντασμα που αναλύτω, είναι πολύ δυνατός και δεν πέφτει από κανένα φάντασμα και ακόμα ένα triple kill αυτή τη φορά για τον Bananit.
Nonetheless, the game to watch from the last week was Games Face Mendena College versus Anorthosis Famagusta Esports, one of the cleanest game I have ever seen in Greek Legends League. Match for the week this week was Anorthosis Famagusta Esports versus Team Phantasma. Phantasma was struggling a lot this season, that's why they made 2 crucial changes at the roster. They wanted a good game straight back, and that was that. Moving on to the standings, we find 2 teams struggling for first place. Games Face Mendena College and WL Gaming are at the top of the leaderboard with 7 wins and 2 losses result. Next we find Anorthosis and Zero Lag Esports, the surprise of the season, at 5 wins and 4 losses. Our last split finalist, Team Phantasma, stands in the 5th place, followed by Hive Athens and Team Refuse. Still struggling for a break of the bottom of the standings, we find CBI at 2 wins and 7 losses. Looking forward to next week, you should definitely keep an eye out for our match of the week, Games Face Mendena College versus WL Gaming Esports. Both teams share first place right now at Greek Legends, and this match will be the turning point, putting one of those teams in the driver's seat. I go in a south.
My name is Goldberg. Get your one close. We're heading to the north. It's the NLC, baby.
It's a real gap closer, but with the Gnar now evolved, it's a little bit too scary for them to walk into these chokeholds, and that actually gives over some time for Nordovin to jump forward. The leading Lullaby is going to come in. Curve is about to lose Gnar though, so he's not going to get that big slam. Chrisberg jumps into the back line, and the jungler is already down. Oh, massive shuffle by Paulson though, and this is actually Nordovin just getting annihilated. It's Shu gets a triple kill, and Trick just out team fights Nordovin.
This week had Nordovin go against Tricked, and Nordovin had just beaten out the first place in BTXL. They're now going up against the second place, which was Tricked. Nordovin kept their cool in the early game, but they started to look shaky. Through great macro, they were able to secure the win, and with that, keep their playoffs hopes alive. Going over to the standings, Nordovin is now sitting at 3rd place in the group. But plot twist, they are sharing 3rd place with 4 other teams. Group A in the NLC is now more competitive than ever, and with 1 week left, what better reason to tune in? Heading over to Group B, Fnatic, Barrage, and Singularity are all qualified for playoffs. Now, we just need to find the last playoff team. And with that, we go into the match of the week. It's Kova versus Barrage. It's the Battle of Finland, so if you're from Finland, even more reason for you to watch this game. We have 6 Finnish players spread out on both teams. So, I mean, what's not to like? And with that, I hope it wasn't too cold while you stayed with me, but that has been the NLC update. I'll see you next week. I think that's better. Yay! Yeah. See, I don't want to do stuff now because now I know it's going to be used in an outro, so it seems like kind of cringe that I'm forcing it, so I'm just not going to say anything, so, you know, Dino, you do it now. Goodbye.